Hello and welcome to round 10 of this Season 2 Championship here at the glorious Nürburgring circuit in Germany. They're standing up on their own, them things. We don't need grid girls around here anymore. They can stand up. There they are. There's our lovely grid girls. Well, half of them. We don't need them from the back. They're not important. It's fine. Anyway, we're on starters orders and eventually away we go! And it looks like when we finish the slow motion, there's a very good start from Ralf Schumacher, that was. He's already gone past De La Rosa. But Bertie with a fantastic start. Ralf Schumacher looking into the inside. There's De La Rosa. Frentzen has managed to jump the two Ferraris. He's in 4th place. He might even jump ahead of De La Rosa. He has. Frentzen has managed to get in front of De La Rosa, and Ralf Schumacher could not get in front of Bertie, so Bertie leads from the 2 arrows, and then it is De La Rosa, which is not good news for the Jaguars, because they need to claw points back in the championship for the arrows, and they just aren't going to at the moment. There's De La Rosa, 4th place. They're all pulling away significantly from the Ferraris. 5th place for Michael Schumacher, in 6th place for Rubens Barrichello. 7th place currently is the Toyota of Alonso as they go down around the hairpin, the bottom of the circuit. Jenson Button in 8th place in the Jordan. Mika Salo is in 9th place for Toyota, and Coulthard 10th place in McLaren as they go through pretty much the fastest part of the circuit through that chicane. And then he's going down to the second chicane at Mark Webber 13th and Trillian 14th. This is a slower chicane going on to the longest straight of the circuit, where longest time they're going to be on full throttle because there is a little kink in this straight. Raikkonen is in 18th in the Sauber. Fisichella looks down to the inside but can't get through, and Hakkinen is in 20th place as they go round the tightest corners of the circuit through this very tight left-right chicane, and we go back on board with Bertie for the second lap of the circuit through the very technical part that they built a couple of years ago now to lengthen the track slightly, encourage more overtaking, especially at the first corner. And then back to where the track meets between the two tracks. The chicane is still used for the endurance races though, as Ralf Schumacher and Heinz-Harald Frentzen chase after Bertie. In 2nd and 3rd place, De La Rosa currently 4th place in the second Jaguar. Bertie has pulled away significantly as they go down the bottom of the circuit. It's a banked corner, that hairpin, so you can take it a lot more faster than it looks like on the track map. As this is nearly flat out through this chicane. Look, kick off oversteer from the two Ferraris, but they managed to keep it under control. Gear 1 corners these two are, and down to gear 2 for this corner, and the longest full throttle section of the circuit. Got small kink, flat, easily flat, and that is Rubens Barrichello already pulling off to the sides of the track, and that's Bertie going into the pits for a obviously scheduled pit stop. This promotes the arrows for a 1-2 at the moment. Doing another early pit stop is Bertie. Is this going to be beneficial to him, or is this going to hinder him? Alazy goes through, Sato goes through. He's going to get into the small gap between the two Minardis. But this track, notoriously difficult to overtake from past experiences. But that could be a race-winning move if luck goes his way. But at the moment, it's the 2 arrows leading here in Germany. Both Germans, pretty much their second home race here for both the Germans, Frentzen and Schumacher. There's a couple of Germans. We've got Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari, and I cannot think of another German that's actually in the field. So I think we only have the 3 Germans. But De La Rosa is chasing after Frentzen. He's got Michael Schumacher behind, 2 seconds back. So far the top 3 look to be clearly pulling away from the Ferrari. sole Ferrari now as Barrichello comes to a box of neutrals pretty much. I'm not sure what the problem was. Could be box of neutrals, could be suspension, I don't really know. Frentzen takes a lot of curb going through that chicane. And it's the first time we've actually seen this final corner. It's a very intriguing final corner as it goes onto the pit straight. You need to get a very good exit to get enough speed to go down to the first corner, which is another hairpin. De La Rosa gets really close to Frentzen, but the Spaniard cannot get through Frentzen at the moment, letting Ralf Schumacher pull away slightly. It's Frentzen, and they're well clear of Michael Schumacher in 4th place. Alonso's in 5th place at the moment, down towards turns 5 and 6. It's a relatively quick chicane. This is quicker than the last but one chicane of the circuit, but still quite a slow section as to go down towards the hairpin. Do this corner over 100 kilometers an hour, as you saw up there, which is quicker than what they're doing that chicane in. Pretty much flat through this chicane. All the cars getting quite a bit of oversteer as they negotiate it. Round this corner, 140 kilometers an hour, and then this corner is second gear down towards the back straight. They need a good exit out of that chicane to make sure that they can carry enough speed. There's Bertie in 14th place. Looks like he's already gotten past one of the Minardis, but it looks like he has hit trouble. It looks like he's stuck in a gear. Must be stuck. It looks like he's stuck in gear 5. And he's pulling into the pits. It looks like it's going to be a retirement for the Jaguar. That's definitely not good news. That early pit stop is not going to help him that much because he's going into retirement. Stuck in gear 5. Which is definitely not helpful in this circuit because most of this circuit is gears 1, 2. But that is a retired Jaguar there. So they're going to lose a lot of points to Arrows as it stands at the moment. Arrows are going to get 19 points for their 1-2, and then the Jaguars are going to get 8 points, so they're going to be 11 points behind more with 6 rounds to go after this. I think it's 6 rounds after this anyway. I think it's a 16 race championship. It might be 15. If it's 15, it's even more trouble for the Jaguar team, especially the fact it's now a 2-horse race, because I don't think that the rest of the field is going to be able to catch the Arrows and the Jaguar as we go on board with Fisichella as he tries to go down the inside of Raikkonen. Raikkonen is still holding his ground, still holding up Fisichella pretty much, because the rest of the field have already negotiated this hairpin. But Fisichella cannot negotiate around Raikkonen at the moment. Obviously it's going to be frustrating for the Italian if he's going to be stuck behind the Sauber, especially for the fact that the Sauber is one-stopping. Unless Fisichella can get down the inside of this chicane. It's going to turn into the outside for the next corner, and he's had to pull back. Maybe he's going to get a good exit. Trulli now goes into the pits in 13th place. We're already at the end of that 5. This is a scheduled pit stop for the Jordan. Trulli up on his jacks. Fuel going in. And away he goes. He's going to be behind Raikkonen, it looks like. There goes Raikkonen and Fisichella, so he's going to fall victim. Both the Italians are going to fall victim to Raikkonen at the moment. There is Trulli. And there's Fisichella. 1 second gap pretty much between them two. Raikkonen in 15th is 11 seconds behind the Bernardi, who were backmarkers, are now 13th and 14th. Lazy's in 12th place. Webb is in 11th. Diniz is currently in a point scoring position for the first time ever. His teammate is directly in front of him. Panis in 9th place. He's trying to overtake Coulthard in the McLaren. 7th place is the Toyota of Mika Salo. 6th, Button in the Jordan. 5th place is Alonso in the Toyota. 4th place, Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari. He's currently 2.5 seconds behind Pedro de la Rosa in third place, who is still trying to chase after Frentzen in second place, but Pedro de la Rosa cannot get close enough to Frentzen to overtake, and at the moment Ralf Schumacher has a 3-second lead at his home race in the Arrows as they negotiate turn 2 and turn 3 negotiated as well, and then down towards turn 5. I've miscounted the corners. This is turn 5. We're on board with Heinz Harald Frentzen. Around the chicane he goes, and down towards the hairpin the Arrows will go, around the hairpin corner. The first time we've actually been to Germany this season. We haven't been to Hockenheim yet. Hockenheim is the season finale this season. It's going to be a torturous track for most of the drivers, especially for the engines. The engines, having already done 14 races, are going to have to do one more race at Hockenheim. Might not be many finishers, I reckon, in Hockenheim, but we're not in Hockenheim at the moment. We are at the Nürburgring, and through the chicane goes Frentzen and De La Rosa. This is where the two tracks meet of the GP circuit and Nordschleife. That little left-hander that you can see the cars going, bypassing into the hairpin as Button goes into the pit. That takes you onto the Nordschleife. So where the endurance cars go, they use the full GP circuit, and then they use the Nordschleife. As Button into the pits, hose pipe in, hose pipe out, tyres still being changed, tracks down, and away he goes. Down the pit straight he goes, and he's going to be ahead of Coulthard, because Coulthard's in the pits. He's going to be ahead of a Lazy. The answer is yes, he's ahead of a Lazy. So he's still in the top 10 is Button. It's a good aimer for the top guys to see where Button came out. There is one of the top guys, Ralf Schumacher, still leading in the Arrows, negotiating that chicane, and going down towards this chicane at the end of the second sector. There's a 3-second lead currently on Frentzen as the Arrows team get ready for a pit stop. Round the kink into the tightest part of the circuit. Although they can take it at 100 miles an hour, it's around the same speed as the hairpin, as it's Ralf Schumacher. He was lighter than Frentzen. No wonder he was pulling away from Frentzen, and into the pits goes Ralf Schumacher. Frentzen takes over the lead. De La Rosa looks like he's gone into the pits as well. Michael Schumacher carries on. So will Pedro de la Rosa be able to do a undercut on the Arrows of Frentzen? It's a lovely shot that we had of the back of the Arrows. 7.8 second pit stop for the Arrows. He's got tons of clear air, because he's got at least 8 seconds in front of Salo. And there is De La Rosa, 5th place. He's maintained the 3-second gap between Ralf Schumacher and himself. Now there is Alonso just ahead of Webber. So that means it's going to have to be the wrap of his life for Frentzen to stay ahead of De La Rosa. There's Ralf Schumacher, 4th place in the Arrows. He's 8 seconds behind Salo, who's in a Schumacher sandwich. There is Michael Schumacher. All these front three are obviously going to go into the pits this lap, but it depends on how quick Frentzen can be in this lap. He knows he's got to try and stay ahead of De La Rosa to help the team championship out. If they could take maximum points this race, is going to put them in the driving seat pretty much to take this championship. As he comes towards the chicane, the Arrows team are going to get ready for Frentzen. In he goes now, and around this tight hairpin and down towards the pits. In goes Frentzen. He slows. There's Michael Schumacher also in, and it will be Salo in as well. Frentzen into his pit box. He's not going to get held up by any of the drivers. All 4 tyres have nearly been changed. There goes the 4th tyre, and away he goes. 8.4 second stop. That's not a very good stop. There is De La Rosa. He's done enough as Frentzen. Frentzen has done enough, and he has stayed ahead of De La Rosa only just. So the undercut has not worked for De La Rosa. He's going to be stuck behind Frentzen again. Ralf Schumacher is still ahead. He is in he's now back into the lead. He's not the net lead. He is properly back in the lead. Frentzen is in 2nd place, keeping Ralf Schumacher in front. Obviously Ralf Schumacher losing the championship lead to his teammate, I believe. I'll have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure that Frentzen is now leading the championship by quite a number of points. And there we through the chicane and down towards the other chicane, and braking hard, 100 mile an hour. He's still directly behind Frentzen. He's not anywhere near Frentzen enough to remotely challenge for any position. As they go around the first corner, starting lap 11, we're halfway through the race now. And then we go on board with Alonso, and then go on board with the other Toyota of Mika Salo. And I have the standings now up. I'm not very well organised, as you see. I'm never well organised. Oh no, it is Ralf Schumacher that's in the lead of the championship. I do apologise. Ralf Schumacher has a huge lead in the championship. So Frentzen is pretty much the rear gunner at the moment. In fact, if it stays like this, Ralf Schumacher's championship lead is going to be 11 points over De La Rosa, and Bertie's going to lose ground. Currently Ralf Schumacher is in the lead with 57 points. Bertie second with 49 points. And De La Rosa third with 48 points. Frentzen lost 4 places from retiring from the Australian Grand Prix, as Ralf Schumacher easily gets past Häkkinen. Now, is Frentzen going to come up to Häkkinen and get blocked? The answer is no. Frentzen easily gets past Häkkinen. De La Rosa is having a little bit more trouble than Frentzen, but he should be able to get past down the straight. He lost 1.3 seconds around that corner. That is ridiculous. Michael Schumacher's actually pretty close to Heinz-Harald Frentzen. The gap's 3 points behind between Frentzen and Michael Schumacher. But then there's a huge 7-point gap between Salo and Michael Schumacher. So pretty much you could probably say it's between Ralf, Luciano, Pedro, De La Rosa, Heinz and Michael for the championship, as Michael Schumacher is struggling to pass Häkkinen. That's never good, because he's falling into the clutches of Alonso. Schumacher shoves Häkkinen out of the way now. Is Alonso going to easily get past? Yes, he is. That's not a good sign for Schumacher. He's going to have to do quite a lot of blocking now, unless he can pull back a gap. Get the team championship up. Arrow's currently leading by 7 points. There's the other Toyota. He's now being held up by Häkkinen. And yeah, the Arrows team 7 points ahead of Jaguar. But the Jaguar 16 points ahead of Ferrari. It's going to take a minor miracle for Ferrari to catch up, and it's going to take even more of a miracle for Toyota to catch up, because they're 13 points behind the Ferrari team. It's very close in the midfield between Jordan, Renault and Sauber, all of them separated by 3 points. And BAR, McLaren and Minardi are all separated by 5 points. As that is Frentzen's noticeably closer to Ralf Schumacher. Is Ralf Schumacher slowing down and having a problem? That is quite going to be a quite turn up for the books. Round the chicane, turns 3 and 4. Out of the chicane he goes, and yes, that is a problem for Ralf Schumacher. It looks to be stuck in gear like Bertie was. The championship leader looks to be retiring from the race. That's going to be such a disappointment for the Arrows team. They're looking so set for the 1-2. But now it's not going to be the case. It also means that Ralf Schumacher is going to lose, probably going to lose the lead of the championship. Not sure if it will be to De La Rosa or Frentzen. Depends on where they finish really. Michael Schumacher now struggling to get past Ralf Schumacher. But Michael Schumacher should be able to get past down this straight. Is Alonso going to hit the back of a slow moving car this time around? No, because Ralf Schumacher's going to... Oh, that was so close for him. As Michael Schumacher goes into the pits as well, it's the same time as the Arrows. Is he got he's got a problem as well. He's stuck in 6th gear. So both the Schumacher brothers are retiring at the same time. That promotes the Toyota of Alonso into 3rd place. There goes Ralf into retirement. Michael goes into retirement as well. Both Schumachers out on the same lap with the same problem. And that's Trulli. Trulli is retired as well, and he's stuck on the track. Not sure what the problem is with him. I would guess it's probably a suspension failure, but I'm not going to speculate. Now we're on board with Fisichella and Raikkonen, 15th and 16th for the Sauber and the Renault respectively. Young 14th. He's going to inherit 2 places, so he's actually going to be 12th. Would you believe it? Diniz in 11th place. There's Sato in 10th. Diniz could potentially score his first championship point. That was a lazy in 9th. Webber in 8th. Coulthard is currently in 7th place for the McLaren. 6th place. The other BAR of Olivier Panis. 5th place. Again, capitalising on all this is Jenson Button. 4th place currently for Mika Salo. 3rd place is the other Toyota. They're going to be scoring really well this race. De La Rosa is currently in 2nd place in the Jaguar, but out in the lead is Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Arrows. He might score his first win of the season, especially with the lead he's currently got. But there's still 8 laps to go, I think. 8 laps to go including this one. So anything can still happen in a Grand Prix race. We've seen, I think it was 5 cars retired now from the race. But it's going to be a battle between Frentzen and Takuma Sato going into the pits. Is this a scheduled pit stop? It looks to be like it is for the Minardi. Now the Minardi can easily get to the end of the race after this pit stop. The question is Diniz going to overcut the Minardi with his lighter fuel load? 7.8 second pit stop for the Minardi out towards the first corner. Fisichella 13th in the Renault. Raikkonen in for his one and only stop in the Sauber. Away he goes. Down the pit lane goes Kimi Raikkonen, and out of the pit lane goes Kimi Raikkonen. He's going to get out just ahead of De La Rosa. And oh no! Raikkonen! De La Rosa's hit Raikkonen! They're both parked on the apex of turn 1! Sorry about that. I've just coughed in amazement for the Pedro de la Rosa out of this race. He's hit Raikkonen as he comes out of the pits, and if they force both the Toyotas to go well off track, they're going to be in second and third place. I'm in amazement. De La Rosa just blows away a second by impatiently trying to get past Kimi Raikkonen around the first corner. It also makes fitting that it's Raikkonen that, and here's the replay. There's Raikkonen. He's got every entitlement to be right in that corner, and Pedro de la Rosa just drives straight into the back of him. We're on board with Pedro de la Rosa now. Let's see. You can see Raikkonen in the inside, and I'm sorry. That's just silly from the Jaguar. That's just silly. He should have just waited for his opportunity to pass. It's not like he was going to lose much time. That's a very bad error from Pedro de la Rosa. It now leaves Frentzen with a 12-second lead over the two Toyotas of Alonso and Salo, with 6 laps to go after this. And Toyota are getting ready for a pass. It's going to be Alonso. Alonso was the first person to pit between Alonso and Salo, and yes, it is indeed Alonso going around the hairpin and into his pit box. He's going to hit the limiter first and then going to go into the pit box. There goes Salo. These have a 20-second lead over Button. He's going to easily get back in front of Button, you'd think. And down goes the jacks, and away goes Alonso. 8.1 second pit stop. 6.5 to Button. Is into the 4 seconds, and away goes Alonso, losing about 21 seconds for a pit stop, it looks like, especially for an 8-second pit stop. There is Button going around turn 1. The cause of the drama in this race: Pan is currently in 5th place in the BAR. Webber is in 6th place for the Sauber, so it's going to be a fantastic result for the Sauber. There's both McLarens there. He's just sort of hacking in, but I'm pretty sure it's qualified as ahead. Pedro Diniz is in 8th place and looking to score his first World Championship point this season. Fisichella, after all the troubles that's been caused for him this race, he's found himself in 9th place. Young is in 10th place currently for the other Minardi, and away he goes. Frentzen starts his 18th lap. He's easily ahead of the Minardi. There is Hakkinen, 13th place. He's the last driver as we see the casualties. De La Rosa, and there's Raikkonen, pretty much the casualty in that collision. He had every right to be on that inside circuit. Ralf Schumacher looking set for the win. He controlled the whole race. Truly unknown problem, I think, suspension. Bertie gets stuck in gear, and Barrichello, I believe, suspension as well. He retired on lap 2. But at the moment, Frentzen with a 15-second gap to Salo. Round the chicane he goes, and into the next chicane, to gear 1 chicane, and out of the chicane he goes. Just the gear 2 circuit down to back straight, round the kink into the slow chicane, gear 1 chicane around 100 kilometers an hour. Takes quite a lot of curb, and into the pits goes Heinz Harald Frentzen. There's Mika Salo in 2nd place. The Toyota team are ready for him as well. Don't think he's got enough of a gap to clear Alonso. Looks like Alonso's going to stay in front of Salo. Needs around 21 seconds. He's only got 19 to Alonso. Button 5 seconds behind Alonso, but Button is yet to make a pit stop, I think. This Button has already made his pit stop. I'm not too sure about that. We'll have to go on board and see if he has, because we missed if he had a pit stop or not. There goes Alonso going down the pitch straight. And there's Mika Salo coming out of the pits. It's going to be actually really tight. I think Salo's going to take it. The braking, and yes, Salo has actually jumped Alonso, so I was wrong. He needed more than 19 seconds, and Salo has jumped Alonso in that pit stop. Button has made his pit stop. He doesn't need to stop again. So he's in the net 4th place. Banis has made all of his pit stops that he's needed to do. He's in 5th place. Webber 6th place. Of course, he's made all the pit stops he needs to do. I'm pretty sure Frentzen and Salo were the last pitters. Also, that going back to the collision between De La Rosa and Raikkonen, that has huge implications to the championship, because obviously arrows are going to, it looks like, barring any disaster, Frentzen is going to win this race. Look, he's looking strong. He's looking strong to win his home race, but barring any problems, it's going to increase the lead in the championship in the teams from 7 to 17. And at the moment, Frentzen's going to take the lead of the championship again by 1 point over Ralf Schumacher, and it's going to be the 2 arrows flying high at the moment. Going to have a huge gap to the Jaguars, meaning our arrows are going to be pretty much in the front seat to gain the title and actually stop the Jaguar dominances. Oh, Frentzen's trying to get past Fisichella. Fisichella's not abiding to them blue flags. Is he going to abide to them now? Yes, he is. Got to shove him off. Close. Should have shoved him off. Serves him right for trying to block you. Fisichella tried to go down the inside of Frentzen. That's not going to happen. Frentzen's just been too quick around there. There's the 2 Toyotas lying astern in 2nd and 3rd place. It's actually going to help them catch up to the Ferraris, as both Ferraris are out. It's going to bring the fight for 3rd place even closer. To go through the Gear 5 chicane. It's going to be good haul of points for Jordan and Sauber in their little fight for 5th place. Jordan's probably is going to stay ahead, because it looks like that neither of their teammates are going to be scoring. Definitely, Jordan's teammates are going to be scoring because Trulli's already out. I'm not sure about Raikkonen. He may sneak a point. If he sneaks a point, then it's going to be all the same. Renault's going to lose ground in this fight, because at the moment Lazy is the only one scoring, because Fisichella has had quite a poor race as Alonso starts his penultimate lap of the Nürburgring circuit. It's around about 4 kilometers, this track. 4.2 as we go on board with Frentzen, going down towards the hairpin. He's got the Minardi company in front of him of Young. I'm not sure if he's going to catch Young or not by the end of this lap, or by the end of the race, in fact. Easily near enough flat corners these are. Little kick of oversteer, controlled beautifully by Frentzen. So after 21 laps, Frentzen is in the lead, 14 seconds in front of Salo. Who would have thought lap 1 it would be Frentzen from Salo? So the Toyotas were, I think, 7th and 8th coming off of lap 1, and now they're 2nd and 3rd. And that is Panis, and Webber has crashed into the back of Panis and lost his front wing. Panis is out of the race. That's such a shame for the BAR team, because they were looking so good for a big haul of points. But now Webber has lost his front wing, and that's not going to be good news for the Sauber team, because they were in a fight with Jordan for the big haul of points, and Webber is now going to lose out on points. Coulthard has inherited 5th place. Diniz is going to inherit 6th place and get 5 juicy points. These first 5 points. So all the drivers will score. So Webber is going into the pits. Changes front wing. There is Diniz. 7th place in the BAR. Is about to turn into 6th. Webber should get out in front of the Renault of Alazi. So Webber is going to stay in 7th place, but there is Salo. There's Frentzen. He's stuck behind Hakkinen. And that is Young as well. Frentzen, is he going to go down the inside of Hakkinen? Yes, he is. He's negotiated the 2 back markers as needed to do. Round the kink goes Frentzen into the final chicane. It took Arrows 9 races to get their first victory of the season after looking so likely for a number of races. And now 2 have come in once. Heinz-Harald Frentzen wins the European Grand Prix in Germany, his home country. And in 2nd place, Salo, 10 seconds back was the final gap. Alonso finishes in 3rd place. Toyota take a double podium. Button 4th for the Jordan. And there is a huge gap now before we see Coulthard finishing in 5th place for the McLaren. Round the final corner goes Coulthard. Down the pit straight. There is Coulthard. And now, a moment of silence please, as Pedro Diniz finally scores some points this season in 6th place. Webber is only just in front of Alazi, but Webber is going to take 7th place for the Sauber. It's still 4 points, but 2 more points would have been nicer for Webber, obviously. There was Alazi finishing in 8th place, and that was going to be Sato finishing in 9th place. It's going to be points for the Minardi team. After a number of races without points. And into the pits goes your race winner. His first race win of the season. Heinz-Harald Frentzen wins in his home country in the Arrows, and he parks up now as we get ready for the classified results. Heinz-Harald Frentzen wins the European Grand Prix. 35 minutes was the final result for the German. Salo finishes in 2nd place, 10.8 seconds. Frentzen held up by Young and Hakkinen there at the end. Alonso 3rd place in the other Toyota, and there's a long list of retirements that we're going to have to go through as well. But we shall start with looking at the lap times of the leaders. Frentzen pretty much 2nd place for most of the race, and then he inherited the lead from Ralf Schumacher. Salo started 9th and he's actually come up, and Alonso was 7th in the first lap and managed to get into the podium. Button was actually in between the 2 Toyotas, and then Coulthard was actually quite inherited a lot. Diniz, remarkable. Webber unlucky at the end for not getting 5th place, but at least he's still got a couple of points. Jean Alazi was nowhere most of the race and then has managed to get up there, and so did Salo in the end. There's Fisichella for the Renault, and Panis, suspension failure he had in the end. Fisichella scored 0 points. Hakkinen, of course, scored 0 points. And then a long list of retirements, starting with De La Rosa, who may have just blown the championship for Jaguar. There is the Sauber and the Ferrari of Michael Schumacher. He also had a gearbox failure, same time as Ralf, who looked like he won the race and scuppered by gearbox failure. Trulli also retired on that same lap. He had a suspension failure. Bertie with suspension failure and gearbox, and the suspension failure for Barrichello. Thank you for watching the European Grand Prix, and good night.